former council president, Annie McWilliams. And so I have been a servant here in this community for all of those 33 years that I have been here. When we talk about the Plainfield school system, I should say that I am a member of the Frontiers. And as a member of the Frontiers, we were responsible for putting the Plainfield school system on the internet. Dr. James West, in partnership with the Frontiers, we're the ones that are responsible for putting the Plainfield school system on the internet. And several years ago as well, because of my interest in the Frontiers' interest in education, I, along with many members of the Frontiers and my daughter, who was in the 9th grade at the time, we tutored students every Saturday at the Plainfield High School. So I'm a member of St. Mark's Episcopal Church, and I have a long history of public service in this community. And I will continue to be a servant of the people when elected, re-elected to my 3rd Ward council seat. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Veronica Taylor. I'd like to thank the NAACP for hosting this forum and making sure that all the candidates were here. I live down the street. I too am also a graduate of Plainfield High School, class of '82. I've served on the Plainfield Board of Education for 10 years. I've been a public servant since my early 20s. I've also been a commissioner on the Housing Authority, president of League of Women Voters, just a community person. I've been fortunate enough to always live here. I've lived here since I was in 3rd grade, but I've been fortunate enough to always work here. I work at Plainfield High School. I've taught in Stillman. I've taught in Cook. I've run the emergency shelter through the YMCA. I look forward to continuing to serve the city that I love and I choose to remain in. And just looking forward to the opportunity. What I bring to the table is experience. I can echo many of the concerns that the other candidates said. Crime is a big one, especially for people in I live in the 3rd Ward right down the street. That's a concern for us. And, collaboration. That's the key. We can sit up here and say lots of things that we like to get done, but the bottom line is if we don't understand that we all must work together, we won't get anything done. And that's what I'm willing to bring to the table. Thank you so much.
Okay, to give me another opportunity to put down in writing on the cards any questions you might have of any of the candidates or all of them.
And when you're finished, just raise your hand and I'll collect them.
And now we'll start with the summation from each of the candidates, starting with Ms. Taylor, because it said we're going this way and then coming back the other way. Okay, some of the questions. Can everyone hear me? Because I can talk pretty loud. The first question is, as a member of the NAACP, one, are the candidates, and this is to all the candidates, one, are you a member of the NAACP? And if elected, will you return to the NAACP Plainfield branch meeting and update the branch and the citizens on local issues, especially local issues that have to do with civil rights? All candidates.
Oh. No, I'm not a member of the NAACP. I was a member during my college years at the University of West Virginia. But I do support the work of the NAACP. I'm past president of League of Women Voters and still an active member, which also works much like the NAACP to remove barriers to voter education and registration, which I think is truly important. And yes, I'd be more than welcome, even if I'm not elected, just to make sure that the infrastructure is in place, regardless who's elected, that the NAACP is updated regularly so they can educate their members, regardless whether I'm elected or not. I think it should happen. Anything I can do to facilitate the flow of information, of course, I would support.
I am not a member of the local NAACP, but I am a member of the NAACP. And I believe in service, and any time that I am invited by any organization, whether it's the NAACP, whether it's a church, whether it's a non-profit, any of the local organizations in the community, and there are many of them. If if I am invited, I will gladly come to any organization and address any concerns that those organizations have. And so that's part of being a public servant. Thank you.
Yes, I'm a proud member of the NAACP, have been for many years. In high school, reading the works of W.E.B. Du Bois, who was the founder of this great organization, really motivated me to want to get involved. And I've been involved, again, for quite a few years. I have received quite a few awards from the NAACP in terms of community awards and other awards. So I'm proud to be a member, and I also look forward to my continued work with the NAACP, which I support.
No, I'm sorry to say my membership is dated, but I certainly would be willing to come back, and I plan on being involved with everyone.
Okay, this is
an additional question to the candidates. And this question has to do with, it says, homicide seems to be a great problem in the city of Plainfield. Gang activity seems to be on the rise. How would you attempt to fix the problem and make the residents of Plainfield feel safe in their own homes and neighborhoods?
I think it is extremely important that we provide resources to our local Plainfield police department so that it is important that we provide the resources to our local Plainfield and police departments so that they are able to do the neighborhood and policing that is necessary and vital to addressing the issues of crime that we have in the city. Not only is it important to provide resources to the local law enforcement, but we must also do everything that we can to provide jobs to our young people. And the way to do that is that we must create commercial opportunities. We must create an environment that will be conducive to inviting businesses to come into Plainfield. The only way we're going to get jobs for our young people is by having businesses come into the community. And so we can't go on television and broadcast the number of crimes that we have in our city. We can't let the tri-state area know that Plainfield is an area that is known for drugs, gangs, and violence. We have to put a local focus, and we have to use our dollars to invite businesses into our community. We are not going to do that by painting a negative image on television and broadcasting that across the tri-state area. That's where I think that we do a disservice to this community, and we do a disservice to our young people. And so we must bring businesses in if we are to create jobs, and we have to put resources behind our law enforcement. And to that end, I have supported funding for additional police officers, and I will continue to do whatever I can to make sure that we provide them with the resources that they need.
Pastoring a church in Plainfield in the 4th Ward, I'm very acquainted with violence. A matter of fact, a lot of the killings of young people in Plainfield, the funeral was at Ruth Fellowship Ministries. Most of the gang leaders or gang members that were killed, again, the funeral was at Ruth Fellowship Ministries. A lot of times, these families cannot afford insurance. So we provide free funerals, free repasts for at least 85% of the young people who've been killed in the city. We try to bring programs into the community that will prevent young people from getting involved in gangs. Again, we have gang workshops. we take young people in our community to look for jobs throughout the area and the community. These are some of the things that will prevent a lot of the crime. There are no jobs, and we talk about providing a watch group that will help assist the public director in safety, but we cannot have cuts of police officers and cuts of other safety things when we try to address crime. And we can't have it both ways. Either we're going to try to address the situation and bring resources, viable resources. As a council member elected, one of the things I'll look at is some grants that I know is available for the city of Plainfield that has not been looked into that will certainly benefit and help prevent some of the crime that has gone on. We can, a lot of times we listen to a lot of fancy words, a lot of jargon that sounds good, but I don't really see a lot of activity in terms of bringing in resources by certain agencies to prevent crime in our city.
I've been discussing for the last couple of months with the superintendent of schools a program that we want to implement at Washington School. I have a long list of names, a lot of police officers, but primarily men, but it'll be for women also. It's going to be a collective mentoring program. We're going to have food, we're going to have computers, the men are going to be able to enjoy themselves, play cars, pinochle, etc. We'll be able to bring in motivational speakers. The school will cover the cost of custodial and the food. And we'll be able to go on trips, and we think a whole lot will come out of that. I remember my son, I asked him, I always wanted to be a police officer, but I had a record, so I couldn't do it. And I told him he should become a police officer, it was a good job. He looked at me and he said, I don't want to be a police officer. And I could read what he was saying. What he was saying is that him and his friends, they never had any positive experiences with the police. All that ever was happening, they were getting arrested. If the community is like that, and we have a real problem, which we do, the kids have to want to become police officers. It's a good job. And if they don't want to do that, then we really don't have anybody coming up to serve our community and protect it. The other thing is that I never hear council people talk about jobs, but everybody seems to realize that we're not going to make a dent in this gang thing if we can't create some jobs. There's a program I keep talking about that I think, have you all ever been to Rawway, the flea market in Rawway across from the prison?
Yes.
And they have these metal containers. A lot of people go out there and somebody's making some money. We got a 5-acre lot right down here on Grant Avenue and 2nd, right across from Reverend's Church. We could put a slab over that. We could put a roof on it. We could have a flea market. We could have a similar one that they have in Rawway. We could put a police mini station right there. We could get the train to stop there again. We could grow, a state of the art. We could put a bathroom there. So when you do that, the bigger part about the whole, you're creating some jobs, security, maintenance. But the thing is that we can have an incubator and work with the people who wanted to rent there from Plainfield. They only pay half price. Other people would pay full price. But it would be a way to begin to develop some jobs. You have a certain skill, and through the incubator, we could develop that so that we could get something out of it.
Okay, another general question to all of the candidates. And this is one where we've gotten...
Well, that's all right. I'll answer. I can do it in explanation. Just a comment. I do echo the concern that the other candidates have about jobs. One of the reasons we're a recreational rich community. We have city parks, we have multiple county parks here. We